Depot Museum is located on 783 Main Street in Mendota, Illinois, and the museum is open weekends noon to 4 and used to be open on Wednesdays. Also, the original station built here is in 1887. The original station was built here in 1887, and it was mostly torn down in 1942 except for the north end, which is an Amtrak waiting room. The rest of the building was rebuilt and is now the Union Depot Railroad Museum. Also, the Union Depot Museum has trains to explore, exhibits to see, and a model railroad to experience. Also, Amtrak passenger trains can be seen stopping here, and passengers arriving or departing Mendota, Illinois. And there's so much to see and do at the Mendota Union Depot Railroad Museum in Mendota, Illinois. It has some passenger cars you can view. It has a steam engine and a red caboose. And a lot of signals that were used on railroads in the past. Okay, I'm going to show you the exhibits in the museum, so I'll be moving the camera around and showing you around, so come along. So you see here's some photos of trains from in the past, and just a lot. Milwaukee Road, Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul. Here's the conductor's room. Here's some mannequin bodies, conductor's hat, trainman hat, Pullman, Here's some antique plates that were part. And here's some switch locks, and that's 4978's stencil, which is the steam engine out here on the museum. And here's some plates, and here's some badges and some pictures. So much. And here's a bell right here that is presented to Bill Greenwood, June 30, 1994, from your friend at Burlington Northern. Here's a picture of the Milwaukee Road 261, and Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 5629, which is at the Colorado Railroad Museum in Golden. And here's a ticket office. So you see here, press button to hear the telegraph. So I'm gonna cut off the tapping noise. And here's the model railroad. And here's a diagram of an old railroad depot. Here's some railroad lanterns and a bell, presented in memory of Leal Weeks Durham and Harriet Regel Durham by son William R. Durham. And I'm gonna let you read the rest even if you visit someday. Here's some Lionel trains on that shelf up there. There's lots of pictures among the wall. Here's some model trains in a case down here. And here's a running model railroad. Here's a train running, and here's another case. Those look like old-time Lionel trains. And this is not a running model railroad. There's the model 5629, which is at the Colorado Railroad Museum in Golden. Now here's a display case. Lots of steam engines from the past. Oh, and here's the model of Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 4978, which is here at the Union Depot Museum. And that's a Lionel train of the the California Zephyr. And here's the Pioneer Zephyr, which is at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, Illinois. There's some lanterns on that window. Crazy, the sunlight's flashing in the way. And here's a lot to see here on this model railroad. And down here, there's a boxcar train with a C-B&Q caboose. And looks like a Santa Fe motor car down on the third track towards me, crossing the bridge. And so much here. This is pretty cool. I like how well they have this thing detailed. Okay, here's some more exhibits I'd like to show you. So here's an HO model railroad, and HO scale train, Chicago Northwestern diesels, and boxcars, Canada Cattle Car Company 1001, a Chicago Northwestern maroon painted caboose, lanterns, and here's a speeder maintenance of way flatbed, and here's a small Chicago Burlington and Quincy caboose. Here's some old railroad tools, and here's some toy trains right here, and here's some more lanterns, and here's a speeder right here, and this speeder was used out on the tracks, and it's Burlington Northern 1120M. Here's a luggage cart right here, and luggage, and so much. What you see right behind me is Chicago Burlington and Quincy 4978. Chicago Burlington and Quincy 4978 was built by Baldwin in 1923 and is the 56,974th steam locomotive built by that factory, and is a 282 Mikado type steam locomotive, and is an 01A class steam locomotive. Chicago Burlington and Quincy 4978 is one of 60 Chicago Burlington and Quincy 282s ordered by the Chicago Burlington and Quincy in 1923, and all were built by Baldwin and numbered from 4940 to 4999. Chicago Burlington and Quincy 4978 was originally assigned to the Chicago Burlington and Quincy Galesburg Division, which included Mendota, Illinois. Chicago Burlington and Quincy 4978 was like a mixed traffic engine that hauled freight and passenger on the Chicago Burlington and Quincy Railroad. Also, Chicago Burlington and Quincy 4978 had worked on the Chicago Burlington and Quincy Railroad. Then it was retired in 1965, and first was donated to a city park in Ottawa, Illinois. Then to the Salie County Historical Society in North Utica, Illinois. Then came to be part of the Union Depot Museum in Mendota, Illinois, and is on display. Also, Chicago Burlington and Quincy 4978 is one of 4 surviving Chicago Burlington and Quincy 282s that survive today, and you can find Chicago Burlington and Quincy 4978 at the Union Depot Museum in Mendota, Illinois, and even climb into the cab of the locomotive and sit where the engineer and fireman used to sit and ring the locomotive's bell. And that's how it's done. What you see right behind me is Chicago Burlington and Quincy 14451. Chicago Burlington and Quincy 14451 was built by the Chicago Burlington and Quincy Aurora shops in Aurora, Illinois, 1911, and is a one-way car caboose. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 14451 was used behind freight trains on the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad during the career of this caboose. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 14451 was used as the railroad workers' office when being used behind freight trains on the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad. Also, Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 14451 is one of many wooden Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy cabooses built in the past. Also, Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 14451 was retired, then came to be part of the Union Depot Museum in Mendota, Illinois, but before that it was in a city park in Ottawa, Illinois, then came to Mendota, Illinois, where it is today, and during museum hours you can check out the interior of the caboose and see what's inside it. And it's placed on static display at the Union Depot Museum in Mendota, Illinois, where it is today.
See right here, this is a from the past. Water into steam engines, boilers, and also that pipe down there. So also display.
What you see right behind me is Southern Pacific 10402. Southern Pacific 10402 was built as a lounge and coffee shop and has the name Golden Trencher. Southern Pacific 10402 was used behind Southern Pacific's Golden State Limited train. Also, Southern Pacific 10402 was once Amtrak 8502. Also, was a hamburger grill lounge. Southern Pacific 10402 was also painted blue and had the road name as Cadillac and Lake City Railroad and was named as American View. While painted blue, the number was as and road name was as Relco Tank Line Incorporated 402. WRLX is the abbreviation. Also in 2015, Southern Pacific 10402 was repainted to Southern Pacific Red and Silver scheme when it was part of the Golden State Limited. Also, Southern Pacific 10402 was painted blue when it came to be part of the Union Depot Museum in Mendota, Illinois, where it is today.
What you see right behind me is Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul 2713.
Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul 2713 was built in 1937 and is a branch line combination car. Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul 2713 was a maintenance of way car and numbered as maintenance of way 402. Also became numbered as road name Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul 2713 and says Railway Express Agency on the side, REA for short, which is abbreviated. Also, Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul 2713 is painted in a Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul orange as well. Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul 2713 was also retired and then came to be part of the Union Depot Museum in Mendota, Illinois, where it is today.
What you see right here, this is a railroad speeder that was used for inspecting tracks. And that's the speeder's trailer in the back. And also, this speeder was once used. This speeder is used for the museum to give rides sometimes. And also, looks like this speeder just holds a sure way to where it's supposed to go. Well, I hope you all enjoyed learning about host of Matthew out at the Ice Segment Show, signing out. Till next time, all aboard!